Today, we're not just going to talk about some financial strategy. No, we're going much deeper. We're going to explore a whole philosophy of survival, a really radical way of thinking that basically questions everything we thought we knew about risk, especially in a world that, let's be honest, never does what we expect. So, here's the thing that should keep us up at night. It's this huge paradox at the heart of modern finance, right? I mean, think about it. We have more data than ever, insane computing power, some of the smartest people on the planet working on this stuff. And yet, our best, most sophisticated models just shatter. They completely fall apart exactly when we need them the most. So why? Why does this keep happening? That single question, well, that's the key to everything we're about to get into. Okay, so let's get right into it. The very first step here is, well, it's a big one. It's pretty radical, actually. We have to completely let go of this illusion that we can predict things. I mean, really abandon it. The reason our models fail time and time again is because they're built on a totally flawed idea of what we should even be trying to do. And that brings us to the crucial shift in thinking. The mission, it's just wrong. We have to change the entire goal of finance. Stop trying to build these incredibly complex, fancy crystal balls to see the future. It's just not going to happen. Instead, our number one goal, our only real goal, should be to build systems that can survive the future, no matter what it throws at us. The whole focus has to shift from trying to optimize everything to just enduring. You know, to really get why this shift is so absolutely critical, we actually have to go back in time, almost 100 years, to an idea from an economist named Frank Knight. He pointed out something fundamental that we've kind of forgotten. He said we face two completely different kinds of unknowns. And the fact that we mix them up, well, that's the root cause of almost all of our biggest, most catastrophic mistakes. So here they are, side by side. You've got risk and you've got uncertainty. With risk, you basically know the odds. With uncertainty, you have no clue. They're not just different, they're different worlds. And almost every massive failure in modern finance comes down to one simple, fundamental mistake. We treat a world of true uncertainty as if it's just a game of calculable risk. So let's talk about risk first. Just think of a casino, right? Like a game of blackjack. You don't know what the next card is going to be, but you know exactly what the probabilities are. You know there are 52 cards in the deck, 4 aces, and so on. These are what we call known unknowns. And in a world like that, yeah, you can optimize, you can build models, you can actually calculate your best move. But uncertainty, oh man, that is a completely different beast. This is the world of unknown unknowns. It's like you walk into the casino, but you don't even know what game you're playing. Maybe it's cards, maybe it's dice, maybe the dice have 6 sides or a million, or they might just evaporate midair. The rules can literally change at any second, without warning. In a world like that, trying to calculate odds it's pointless, it's futile. The only smart thing to do, the only rational goal, is just to make sure you can survive and stay in the game no matter what happens. So the big question is, why do we keep making this mistake? Why do our models always fall into this trap? Well, it turns out they're all built on this one deep, hidden assumption, an assumption that connects the past to the future. And it's almost always wrong. It's fatal, really. And here it is. This is the absolute heart of the problem. There's a technical name for it, the Ergodek axiom, but don't worry about the term. All it means is that we assume the future is just going to be a replay of the past. We assume that the patterns we've seen before will just keep repeating forever. It's a really tempting idea, but in the real world of markets and economies which are constantly changing, it just isn't true. It's a lie. Let's just walk through how this goes wrong step by step. It's like a recipe for disaster. Step 1, you gather a ton of historical data. Step 2, you make that fatal assumption. You believe that the world behind that data is stable and won't change. Step 3, bam, a black swan hits, something nobody saw coming, something that changes the rules of the game. And then step 4, collapse. The model, which was built entirely on a past that doesn't exist anymore, just completely breaks. And this leads us to something that's, well, it's pretty disturbing when you think about it. A huge paradox. All of our attempts to make the system safer, more efficient, more optimized, all based on this flawed logic, have actually done the complete opposite. They've made the whole thing way more fragile, way more vulnerable. So what exactly is a black swan? It's not just something rare. It's something that is completely outside what we thought was possible. It has a massive catastrophic impact. And here's the kicker. After it happens, everyone looks back and goes, oh, of course we should have seen that coming. We rewrite history to make it seem predictable. Think about the 2008 financial crisis or the COVID-19 pandemic. These weren't just blips on the radar. They were events that completely broke the reality our models were built on. And here's the really wild part. The very tools we built for safety and efficiency, they actually become the source of the danger. They can take a small shock and amplify it, turning it into a massive crisis, a huge domino effect that brings the whole system down. See, by optimizing for a perfectly calm, predictable world, we strip out all the buffers, all the extra capacity, all the stuff that's absolutely essential for surviving when things get chaotic. This quote just nails it. When we step in and stop something from failing, we think we're helping, but we're not. We're actually making the system brittle. We're preventing it from learning and adapting. We're getting rid of all the small, healthy failures that would have made it stronger in the long run. What we're doing is trading a little bit of stability right now for the guarantee of a massive system-wide collapse later on. Okay, so if trying to predict the future is a fool's game, and if our so-called safety measures are actually making things worse, then what on earth are we supposed to do? Well, it's simple. We have to stop trying to be weathermen who can predict the rain. Instead, we need to be like Noah and just focus on building a really, really strong ark. We need a completely new architecture for survival. And that brings us to this incredibly powerful idea, anti-fragility. Now, this is not the same as being robust or resilient. That just means you can take a punch and get back to where you were. Anti-fragility is totally different. It means you take a punch and you actually get stronger because of it. It's about building things that don't just survive chaos, they feed on it. They literally thrive on disorder. Let's just look at the three side by side. A fragile system, you hit it, it breaks. A robust system, you hit it, it stays the same. But an anti-fragile system, you hit it and it gets better. It's designed in a very specific way. The most you can lose is small and capped, but what you can gain, well, that's unlimited. It's perfectly set up to profit from the exact same kind of random shocks that would destroy a fragile system. All right, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? How do you put this into practice? Well, there's a really simple, elegant strategy for this. It's called the barbell strategy, and it's a blueprint for structuring things to thrive when you have no idea what's coming next. It's actually pretty straightforward. Imagine a barbell. On one side, you put the vast majority of your stuff, let's say 90%, into things that are incredibly safe. I'm talking cash, super safe government bonds. This is your survival fund. It's not going anywhere. Then on the other side of the barbell, you take that small remaining chunk, that 10%, and you put it into really high-risk, high-reward bets. Things that could go to zero, but could also explode in value. See what that does? It caps your maximum loss at just 10%, but your potential upside is, well, it's unlimited. But, and this is a huge but, none of this works without one final crucial piece of the puzzle, skin in the game. You absolutely cannot build an anti-fragile system if the people calling the shots are completely protected from the downside of their own decisions. It just doesn't work. When someone has their own skin in the game, when they actually have something to lose, their incentives change completely. They start avoiding hidden risks and thinking about long-term survival instead of just grabbing a quick bonus. And so that leaves us with this one last really deep question to think about. We always think of intelligence as being able to predict things, being clever, being able to calculate the future. But what if that's just wrong? What if in a world that is fundamentally uncertain, the highest form of intelligence isn't about being right? What if it's just about enduring? It's about building things that can last, things that learn from chaos, things that actually stand the test of time. What if survival itself is the ultimate form of intelligence? That's really the core idea behind this entire way of thinking.